Hey, it's John Carlos, here with a look at the Hot Toys Guardians of the Galaxy action figure of Gamora. Here's a look at the packaging. I particularly like the bright neon colors and the kind of like 80s font and kind of graphics they use towards the bottom of the box here. And here's a look at the inside, inner packaging. She comes with a few accessories, so we'll take a quick look at those. Here are the extra wrist pegs. Next up we have a set of alternate hands. These are her fist hands, and I like that they include good ring paint. The sculpt on all the rings looks really cool. Next she has a set of grip hands, and I like that these grip hands not only have the same good paint on the rings and all that, but like all her fingernails are painted with a little green paint. I think these look pretty damn cool. Next up is her little retracted sword, and I think the sculpt on this is really cool as far as being a smaller little weapons accessory. But what's cooler is the fully extended sword, which has the blade all the way out. One little tiny nitpicky bummer is that this blade right at the end starts to curve up a bit in the packaging, where it was like being held in by a little piece of foam, and that kind of spongy foam forced it to be bent just a little bit. But when you look at like the whole thing, it looks pretty damn good. But yeah, the sword looks great. I think there's a lot of good little tiny, well sculpted details in there. Lastly, we've got the figure stand, which has the artwork of like little gridded groundwork pattern on it, and like the Star-Lord one, it's a little tight to put in. It's the same exact shape and artwork, but the artwork that's on it tends to crack just a little bit when you put it in. It gets covered up by the arm, but yeah, this figure stand looks pretty damn cool. So having taken this figure out of the package and sort of playing around with it, one of the things that I'm grateful for right outside the box is that her ankle joints have a little bit of articulation through the boots. Sometimes when a figure's got really tight boots, you're forced to get it to balance by having it lean forward or lean back at the knees or waist, but I think it looks more natural when you get something to stand right from the get-go at the ankle joint, and there's like just enough range of motion in here when it's standing to get her to pivot forward at the ankle. So I dig that. I also just dig the overall quality of these boots. I like the design of them, but I like the execution of them, including this little texture right on the front. We'll take a closer look at the whole figure now, just so you can see like the quality of her outfit. I like the little rubbery material here, although when you bend it at the knees, this double knee joint, you can kind of see the edge of that joint. But I don't really plan on bending the figure that far forward with those knee joints. The texture on the pants is cool. I really like the design of the blue, but this leathery material really reads great. I think it's awesome. I also dig the texture of her belt, because it's a good contrast to the rest. The silver sections on the belt look really cool, including this little box on the back, but nice tiny little sculpting work, including this little black leather strap going down the side and the way it ties around here. Execution on this is really, really good, I think, as far as little straps hanging down and all that. The details on this, really great, including the netting on the front. And the little section here on her neck, the black work with the little silver things, I think they did a great job with that. Here's under her shoulder, you can see the little, under her hair you can see the little shoulder pad. And then I'll just give you a look at the back here. Good stitching in the back, I think. I really like the use of blue and black. And her hair looks great. Let's talk about that. I think it hangs really well on the figure. It certainly reads good from the front. But one of the things I dig is the way it doesn't get too poofy in the back. Now, some figures with real hair have like hair rooted all over. This has like a rooting at the top, and then like a big section that's not rooted, and then another section at the bottom. But I think that lack of rooting allows it to kind of hang just right and not get too full. So I dig this. But I dig the colors. I think it looks cool. Now, articulation on this I'm mostly fine with. It's got a decent range of motion at the shoulders as far as like, coming forward and back and up and down like 90 degrees and all that. She's got actually a good range of motion right underneath her like boobage area. She can kind of lean forward a bit and lean back and like kind of turn, so that's cool. Range of motion on the legs is a little bit limited because of the pants. Or at least if you want to stretch them further, I'm afraid I'd rip them. But the knee joints are good, ankle joints are good, the wrist moves fine, and the elbows. I've seen online some people have had problems with when you bend them, something kind of pokes out through this soft rubbery skin material, but I lucked out and got elbows that don't really have anything there to rip through. Now, I feel if you bend them far enough, the material does get a little tight, and I would never want to rip it over time. So I'm not really going to be posing her with her elbows bent very far. But mine actually do bend quite nicely, and the actual like faux rubbery skin does read well. I like the little sculpt of the little dip in her elbow there, the inner elbow. Also, her like neck and like breastal area are made of like a soft kind of rubbery skin material too. Now, as far as this figure's head goes, to me there's no denying that this is a really, really great design. I think they did a phenomenal job capturing the look of Zoe Saldana. I mean, it totally looks like her. And not just like the details of like Gamora's like little silver sections painted into her face, but that mouth, the nose, the mouth line, it totally looks like her. I'm going to try to see if we can go in for a closer look here, because I really want you guys to see just like how well done this is. I mean, if you look at her eyeballs, how like glossy they are. If you look at like the reflection in the pupils there, it looks glassy, it looks wet. It totally looks like her eyeballs. I think they did a great job capturing all of her features. Now I'm going to pop off her hand, try to put on one of the alternate hands, which can get a little tricky when the wrist joint's moving around. But that actually went on pretty damn easily. And I gotta say, I think the little like wrist guards look really, really cool too. I think they did a great job with the little inner beads there, and then like the outer section, the blue looks really cool. And I just want to put in the sword and see if it fits into her. Oh yeah, it fits into her hand totally properly and looks really damn cool. One of the last things I want to show you is that her little retractable knife fits into this holster on her left hip. I've said this figure looks really damn cool a bunch of times in this video, and that's because, well, I mean it. I think this figure turned out great. Even though she only comes with a few accessories, I think this figure has a lot to offer. I think they did a great job translating the costume into figure form. The hair lays really well. Her sword looks awesome. More than anything, I think the likeness of Zoe Saldana is just awesome. I think this figure has a really, really great head sculpt. And if you're a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, or you're a fan of this character in particular, man, I think this figure has a lot to offer. Thanks for watching.